Hey everybody, welcome back to Summit. I'm Mark. We're taking a look at the third Sunday in Ordinary Time. When I was a kid, played different sports. I loved soccer. And one year I was playing soccer. I was in middle school. I was going in and I got slide tackled really hard. Fell on my wrist, fell on my ankle. I mean, it was not good. I just really went down hard. And I was not able to play for several weeks afterwards. I fractured my wrist, I hurt my ankle, and I broke a couple of my toes. Okay, so it was a hard fall. Now, what amazed me was you'd think that the fractured wrist is what hurt the most. But they were able to put that in a cast. It was fine, right? So I could have played the next week with my wrist the way it was. But it was the toe. It was the broken toes, these two broken toes. I could barely walk. I couldn't stand. I was amazed at these tiny, two stupid little toes. I mean, I was hobbling around. I was hobbling around school. I was hobbling around my house. I was so frustrated. It kept me out of games for like a month because I couldn't barely walk. And I sure couldn't kick. And it really hit me whenever I read these readings from Corinthians, the second reading this week, it really hits me about how crucial every part of the body is. Everything has to work in tandem. You can look at something like an arm or a hand or a wrist and think that's the most important thing. That's how I do everything. But something as simple, as seemingly insignificant as a couple of toes can render you completely incapacitated, right? It doesn't make any sense. You should be like, oh, I should just be able to, wrap that up and I'll be fine. But every time you step, every time you walk, every time you put weight on it, it just sends shockwaves of pain through your body, right? These tiny two little seemingly insignificant toes. And that's what St. Paul was trying to get across to the people in Corinth. That we are all different. We're all different people. But we're all supposed to function as one body in Christ. So he likens it to a body. He likens it to, hey, you know what? You're important and you're important, and all these pieces are supposed to work in tandem, everybody. Everybody's supposed to work together, one body, many parts, and all those parts have different roles. You see, God, when he created you, he formed you in your mother's womb, it says in Psalm 139. In Jeremiah 1, it says he consecrated you. He has a mission for you. Ephesians says that your mission is to do good works. Like God has a plan for your life. And that's why God entrusted certain gifts and talents and skills to you so that you would fulfill the mission he's given to you specifically. Because your mission is not the same as the person next to you. Your mission is not the same as your friend's mission, as your sibling's mission, as your parents' mission. Everyone's got a different mission in this plan of salvation. And God blesses you with the uniqueness and the traits and the skills that you need to fulfill the mission and bring him glory and to create and to build his kingdom on earth. And nobody knows what that mission is except you and God. That you need to be able to pray about this, to discern it. The word discern is kind of one of those funky prairie Catholic-y words. It means to separate things apart. Separate things so you can kind of see things clearly. Like look at the whole thing, this whole big mess that is your life, and kind of be able to kind of separate things out and go, okay, this is my bad. The situation over here is bad. It's because of my sin. The situation over here, that wasn't because of my sin, but it's an obstacle. It's a challenge. We'll get through that. And then the things that are before me, what my future is, where I go to college, what my job is, how I serve, what I do with my life, those are things you have to discern. God, what did you create me for? God, what is your desire for me? And no one person's mission is more important than another's. No. You can go on, you can be a really successful CEO, of some major corporation. Doesn't mean that your job or your life or your mission or your vocation is more important than the person who's, down the street collecting garbage. Like everyone has a really important role to play because we're all working together. We're supposed to be, at least. You see, St. Paul was telling the people in Corinth, listen, okay, the church in Corinth, it was a kind of a mess, and it was a new church, right? They were trying to learn how to be Christian, how to get along. They're trying to learn how to worship. They're trying to learn like how to become brothers and sisters in Christ and what that really means. So when St. Paul, he'd already lived there before, when he's writing this letter to the Corinthians, he's writing to them after the fact. I've already lived with you. I've already seen your fighting. I've already seen your anxieties. I've already seen the way you guys do and don't get along. So I'm going to write this letter to remind you that even though you're different, you're beautifully unique and you're all equal and you're supposed to be functioning as one. Look around your home. Do you feel like your family functions as one? Do you have one mission where everybody's on the same page? Or do you constantly fight with your siblings or fight with your parents? Look at your youth group. Look at your life team group. Do you really function as one? Do you have one collective goal to help each other get to heaven? Or are there little cliques and little factions where people are like, I don't like this person, I don't like that person. Do you let that stuff exist? Because you can't let that stuff exist. That stuff destroys the body. That's when the body's broken. That's when you got a couple broken toes and you can't move forward because you got to function as one. Look at your circle of friends at school. Whether it's an activity or a group or maybe it's a band or it's a team or it's theater, whatever it is, music. Look at the people you spend time with. Do you function as one? Do you all have the same goal in mind? It doesn't mean everybody has to believe the same thing. You can have friends with other belief systems. But you need to have those people in your life who want to help you be the best version of yourself, help you move forward, help you be the best young man or young woman that you can be. To become the saint that God created you to be. Have those people in your life who are going to walk with you, hold you accountable. That's how you move forward. That's how the body functions in a healthy way. Because all of a sudden, when you have those people in your life who are broken, those people in your life who are not helping you move forward, you're going to be hampered. You're not going to move the same way. You're not going to be able to fulfill the mission God's created for you. My brothers and my sisters, God has a tremendous plan for your life. God has given you every skill and talent and trait you need to achieve this mission and plan. But you have to step back and discern and say, where am I broken? Where am I not functioning right? Where have I been kind of cliquey? Where have I been kind of elitist? Where have I kind of separated away from other people? Where have I not functioned as part of a community? Or where is my community broken that I need to address it through prayer or through forgiveness or through reconciliation? God's plan is awesome. It's perfect for you. But you have to stop and pull back and say, am I healthy? Am I functioning as a part of a bigger body? Or am I trying to do it all on my own? Because you can't do it on your own. God put us into families and relationships and groups for a reason. We are many parts, but one body in Christ.